Hi, today we're going to be making this unicorn. It's a variation on my horse tutorial. So if you've done the horse tutorial, you'll be familiar with a lot of the moves which you're going to see in this one. Okay, we're going to start off with a square sheet of paper. So I just need to adjust the camera. There we go. We're going to start off with a square sheet of paper. We need to make a diagonal fold from this corner down to that corner. So I'm going to fold this across like this, and we end up with a triangle. Now we're going to make some crease points along here, and the first one is it's going to be one right in the middle here. So we're going to take this edge here and we're going to fold this right over to the other side, making sure that these edges align. I'm going to do it nice and accurately. There we go. I'm going to make my first crease point, which is that one there. Now, because I'm using white paper here, sometimes you can't really see the crease. I'm going to actually mark it on there so you can see it more clearly. Okay, there it is. Now, my next crease, I'm going to take this point here and I'm going to fold it to my halfway point, effectively making a quarter crease point here. I'm going to fold across here, like so. And then press down and make a little crease point. And again, I'm going to mark it on here so you can see it a little bit more clearly. I'm going to mark it on the other side as well. Okay. Now, I want to take this point here, our crease point here, and fold it to our center point. This is why I marked it on the other side, so you can actually see the two marry up together. There we go. I'm going to produce another crease point here. Okay, and I'm going to mark that one on for you, and again also do the other side, because it's going to be one last one. What we're going to do is we're going to make a crease halfway between here and here. So I'm going to fold this point here to that point there, like so. And that's going to be our last one. Okay, there's my crease. That's going to be our main one, this one here. Now on to our second crease we're going to make. We're going to fold this point here to this point here, the one just before the halfway point. And I'm going to press down firmly and produce a crease. Go from the top of the paper down to this diagonal edge here. Okay, then I can fold this back out, and I can also open up my square sheet of paper. And where I've got my crease points, I'm going to have them vertically here, and I'm going to fold this where I've got my last crease, and then fold that down like so, and press firmly across here. I'm then going to take my bottom corner here and I'm going to fold right up to the top point here, like so. Make a crease which runs across here. Start firmly, like so. Now I want to take this point here and I want to fold this point down onto this line here. Now, depending on how accurate you are with this crease and that crease, when I do this fold, we should form a sharp point here and also a sharp point here. So the best thing to do is, first of all, let's make sure we get a sharp point at the top. I'm going to fold this over and make sure that this crease here is nice and sharp. Now I'm going to concentrate on the bottom one, and I'm going to make sure that one's nice and sharp. Also, once I've got those two firm creases in place, I can then join the two together. As you can see, my creases weren't all that accurate because this is now not quite aligned along this horizontal edge, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter too much. Okay, so I've done this side. Now I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So I'm going to make sure I've got a nice sharp point at the top to begin with. and then I'm going to make sure I've got a nice sharp point at the bottom here. And I'm going to join the two together, and again I'm just slightly off, but not to worry. Press down firmly. Okay. Next I'm going to lift this flap, open it out again. And as you can see, I've produced a crease along here. We want to fold this edge to that crease and produce a nice sharp point here. So I'm going to fold like that. Make sure I've got a nice sharp point here. And then make sure that this edge aligns along here. Do them in that order. Sharp edge, press down firmly. Then you can adjust this up and down slightly. There's a bit of movement there. Now right on that crease, once I'm happy with that, I hold it down. Now I can start pressing from my firm crease on this side all the way down to here. Okay. Once I'm happy with that, I can then use my nail, press all the way across. Open it up and do exactly the same on this edge here. So I'm going to fold it over generally and then make sure that I got my sharp point here. Okay. Just press it firmly for a couple of centimeters and then adjust this so that this edge aligns along that crease. It's around about there. Once I'm happy with that, hold it down. From this firm point, I'm then going to use the tip of my finger and press all the way down, making sure all of this section is nice and flat. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to press down with my nail. Okay. Now I can open this back up again, and we have effectively two creases running along here. We want to lift this flap out, and we want to fold this in, like so. So this pointy bit here, which we call a rabbit ear, is actually pointing upwards, like so. I'm going to push this right into the center, and then flatten this down, like so. I'm going to press down the center, there's a new crease underneath here, and the same on the other side. And press down on the center, like so. Okay. This being a rabbit ear, you can open up with a finger inside like that, and you can also press down. Make sure when you do press all the way down that this center line here aligns along this center line here. Okay. This is actually the head of our horse. Press down firmly, like so. We're now going to take this top edge here and we're going to fold to our center line here. So I'm going to put my fingernail right in the center tip of that kite shape there, and then fold over to our center like so. Okay, produce a crease. Likewise for this edge here, I'm going to fold this over to this edge, to this center line here, like so. Open it out, and this top point is going to come down to this point here. As we do fold this back, those two last creases will fold in like so. This produces a nice sharp point like that. This then comes down, and you just need to help these creases in place. You produce this crease here, and you produce that crease there. So we've got a nice kite shape. Okay. These two flaps will become the ears of our unicorn. Okay. Next, we want to now produce three creases, two sets of three creases. So we're going to fold this in half, like so. And then this flap here, we can actually fold forward and keep it out of the way. Because these creases that we're going to make are going to be one from this corner here down to this corner here, one from this corner here down to this corner here, and this corner here needs to come to the center here. First one, top down to bottom here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we get a nice sharp crease or sharp point at the top and a nice sharp point at the bottom. Because it's quite a long fold, the best way to do this is, as you've seen me do earlier, make sure the top crease, the top point here is nice and sharp before you do anything, and make sure that this is folding in generally the right direction. So there's my sharp crease, good 2 centimeters up until that point, make it nice and firm, and then likewise down at the bottom, a couple of centimeters in from that actual sharp corner. Once I'm happy with that, I can then press this down lightly and then lightly make the fold that joins the 2 firm creases, one here and here. Once I'm happy with it, I can then use my thumbnail and make it a nice sharp crease, like so. Fold it back out. There's my first crease. Next one, we want to go from this corner here down to that corner there. Do exactly the same technique. Top, I'm using my thumbnail, my fingernail, form a nice sharp crease. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to press down a couple of centimeters, and then I'm going to work on the next corner here, the other side of it. Press down firmly. Okay, so I've done my top crease and my bottom crease. I'm going to press down lightly to join the 2 firm creases together. Now I'm happy with that. I'm going to use my thumbnail and I'm going to press all the way along there to make a nice firm crease. Okay, open it up. There's my second crease. Third crease is going to be this point here to this center point here. I'm just going to fold that straight up to there, and then I'm going to fold my crease like so. Okay, there's my 3 sets of creases, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. Start with the top to the bottom. Using my nail, let's do a firm crease at the top. Pull the paper over it so it's folding in the general direction that I want it to go in. Once I'm happy with that, I can firmly press down a couple of centimeters from the top. Once I've done the top, I can do the bottom here, 2 centimeters, and then join those 2 together, press down lightly, and then use my thumbnail to make a nice firm crease to join the 2. First crease. Now this top bit here down to this corner here. Again, put my nail in there, firmly press down for a couple of centimeters, and the same down the bottom here. A couple of centimeters, join the 2 together. I'll do this one a little bit more quickly. Press all the way along and open up. The final one, which is this point here, to my center point there. Fold all the way up. Okay. Open this out. Now, these last 2 creases on either side, these are going to fold into our center like so. Now, as you can see, we've actually produced from those other 2 creases, 1 crease there, 1 crease there, forming an isosceles triangle. What we want to do is we want to fold this one to the center of this triangle. If I start from the apex and work my way down just a little bit, you'll notice that this needs to fold forward. We need to form a sharp point here. You can see this flap here, use this as a guideline to form a new crease, like so. Fold it all the way down to this point here, where this crease meets this edge. When you're happy with that, this will then naturally form a crease from that point up into this point, wherever it lies. Okay. Same on this side, we're going to fold this flap forwards into our center. From this point here to this point here, we'll form a new crease. Press it all the way along to the edge, nice and firm. And as you do that, then we will also form a new crease along here, like so. Press down firmly, like so. Do exactly the same to the left side. Fold this one forwards. Press down there, then form a new crease. Right up to a sharp edge. Fold this crease down to this point here. Then fold this flap down like so. Likewise on the very last one, fold this one in. From this point down to that point there, produce a new crease. Stand firmly, and then our last crease, like so. Now that we've made these creases, we need to now undo them, because we need to actually move this fold onto the other side of the paper. This needs to actually go onto that side. So if I unfold this and unfold this one, there's our original triangle. We've got some new creases in there. We're going to fold this back the other way, behind the triangle. And as we do, this flap then folds underneath. Likewise for this side. This one's going to fold onto the inside of the triangle. And as we do, this whole flap goes in like so. Same on the left side. Let's open it out. Then fold this to the inner side of the triangle. Now turn our model over. You can see we have a crease along here and we have a crease along here. We need to fold these back so these triangles that we made on the other side actually show on this side here. Make sure that this point here is nice and sharp. If it's not, you can just do a minor correction. Press down firmly, and same on this side here. I'm just a little bit out, so I'm just readjusting that crease a bit, and the same at the top. We now need to fold these two triangles in half. We're going to fold this way, like so. Fold all the way to the center. That's one side, and also this triangle as well. Fold this triangle here in half. This is going to form one of the two front legs. Fold down the triangle, then fold, continue that crease all the way to the center, like so. Before we actually pull all this together, like so, you'll see on the back here there is a flap. Pull that flap out, like that. Now you can pull all of these together, like so. So I'm going to turn this over, like so. This flap, straighten this out. This flap, where we have these two triangles here, we need to fold this on this flap, a crease which runs along that edge there. So you can just start off with the sharp point and gradually move our way down to the inside of the paper here, like so. That's one. And then also do the other side with a nice sharp point here. And into our paper like so. Okay. This flap should move quite freely backwards and forth like that. Okay. Now turn our model over. Here's the head of our horse. We now want to lift this flap up to as far as it goes, because this will form a flap section here. So what we're doing is we're creating a crease that runs from this point to that point there, and the same on that side. We'll fold that over on one half, and also do the same on the other side, one half, like so. Keep all of this inside there, and then we're going to fold these two backwards on itself, and we'll produce a very flat triangle here. This is the head. This is going to form the tail. This bit's going to form the tail. Okay. This flap here, where we have this edge, we're going to make a fold along here, like so. Fold it back, and we're going to invert that fold, like that. Next, we're going to take this flap again. We're going to make another fold like this, and we're going to flatten it, squash fold. So this point here comes down to that point there. Okay, I'm just going to lower the camera so you can see a bit more close up. There we go. Now I'm going to lift this flap up like that. Take this flap can be flattened to form a kite shape, like so. And do exactly the same for the other side. This flap, put your finger inside here, and we're going to flatten it. Just make sure that this center line, this center crease here, aligns along these edges on the inside. Okay, put it back. We're now going to make a crease, which is going to be this edge here, fold it to the center, like so, with a valley fold. One, and also similarly with the top edge, like so. We're now going to open them up, and using those creases as a guide, I'm going to lift this center bit here and pull it back, and push these two in to form a smaller kite shape. Make sure that these two form a nice sharp point at the top. Pull that back and then flatten it. Then fold it back, like so. Do exactly the same on the other side. This edge and this edge both go to this center line here. One, two, fold it back out, pull this flap up, using those creases as a guide, form two mounting folds, and at the top, a nice sharp point, and two new more creases. So happy with that. Fold it back out, and turn it back over. Now this flap here, we need to try and get inside this kite shape here. Best way to do that, hold that bit like this, and then just tuck that in, let it open up a little bit, tuck it in, and then fold everything back to as it was before. So now it's sitting on the inside. I'll show you on the other side. Here's my flap. Open it up a little bit, and then fold it in, put this inside, and fold everything back again. Okay? This is going to form my tail. Lift this up, like so, out of the way. And we're going to now concentrate on the back. These are the back legs. We can fold this in on itself. You've got one flap, two flaps, three flaps, and four flaps. So find where you've got the two flaps, and that's where you put your thumb in there, and you actually do invert the fold here. Make this back leg point down, like so. Likewise, on the other leg, make that one fold down like so. They don't have to be aligned. One leg can be slightly forward than the other. Okay. The front legs, what we need to do is we need to take this whole front leg and from this point here, this point up until here, a diagonal crease like so. So that this back part of the leg is actually running horizontally along the bottom of the body of the horse, of the unicorn. Do 1 and 2. Once I have those 2 creases, I can fold them back and I can use those as a guide, because if I open up this flap here, I can actually invert that fold like so. As I invert that fold, I don't have to fold all the way along, I just want to make sure I get this crease correct. Press down and then pull this one back forwards like so. So I've got my front leg like that. Same on the other side. I'm going to open this up, fold, and fold back again. Okay. Tail, I can push this down like so, and from where this point here, I'm just going to move back just slightly, and I'm going to invert this fold like so, to form a tail like so. I'll turn this around and now I'm going to concentrate on the head. Where we have this crease that runs from here to here, let's invert this fold. But before I do that, I need to get this in a bit out of the way so I can actually fold that one down. So this one's out of the way. Now I can invert the head, folding along this crease here. Like so. As part of the head, we have 2 flaps. We have a thick flap and a thin flap. The thin flap's actually going to make the head itself. The thick flap is going to make the actual horn of the unicorn. So I'm going to fold this thick flap all the way back, out of the way to begin with. I'm going to fold it back later on. Here's the head. Inside here I can pull out this small flap, which is going to make one of the ears. Like so. Likewise, on the other side, pull out the small flap, it's going to make part of the ear. Like so. I'm going to fold these back on itself, keeping them out of the way. Now this section here, I'm going to fold this down like so, and fold it back, and then I am going to invert that fold like so. Okay. Then I'm going to open it out, and this time I'm going to pull this flap and repeat that move, but this time I'm going to pull out some of the flap to actually make the head of the horse just slightly bigger than normal, like so. The tip I can fold in like so, and then from this point here to about that point there, I'm going to tuck that fold inside. Make a new crease all the way up until about there. Okay. Likewise on the other side. I'm going to make a new crease from this point here to about that point there. There we go. the ears, I'm going to take this flap here. What we need to do is we need to open up this flap here and flatten it, like so. As we flatten it, we need to hold the top point here and then push this up and open this up, like so, and then press down, forming an ear, like so. Okay, likewise on the other side. I'm going to hold down here and I'm going to open up this flap. As you open up the flap, the sides come in. Oops, let's do this one again. Open up this flap. Press down and then lift up. On the ear. Okay, that one's a bit scruffy. I'll just show you this one here. That's that ear there. The horn, this folds forwards like so. Sorry, I'm going to fold this all the way forwards over our horse head, like so. And then we're going to fold this one back on itself to form the horn, like so. Okay. Now, like I did with the other horse tutorial, I actually made the legs thinner. So all you need to do is just fold this in half like so. You've got a thinner leg, same on the inner side. I'm just doing it roughly, just to demonstrate one. There you go. Turn it over. I'm going to fold this one in like that, and then this one like so. And the same with the back legs. I think it actually looks better with the thicker leg, but it's a personal preference. Inside back leg. Same on the other side. Like so. There we go. There's our unicorn. This is the first variation on the horse that turns it into a unicorn. I do have a second variation, and I will be doing that tutorial at a later time. But I hope that was that there were clear instructions on how to make this. Please do subscribe to my channel, and I will be making more models, mainly animals. So please subscribe.